birthday party. Since right now, I don't have any choice. I ain't got choice, but we'll have to do this.